All right, Sahara coming in, starting us off with dragons. Long RC charge, got to get that proper value. Probably going to go through the town hall. There's a multi right there as well. And then we get a lot of rocket balloons as well to accompany her. And then finally the dragons will sweep on through the space.
Yeah, with 3 baby dragons to help potentially set funnels as this RC is charging through the ricochet cannon. A couple of rocket balloons to grab the mortar to the edge of the space. There's the earthquake. Town hall, do not launch your shots out of the RC. So far, so good, as he has another 6 more invises to utilize, as he can even pair in. No, I was looking for the earthquake spell. Does not have that.
We're starting to see more and more of these dragon attacks. Yesterday we saw over 70% root riders, but dragons were definitely the second most used strategy. And we saw in that first war where root riders were used 50% of the time, we saw 3 dragon attacks there. And it had some pretty positive results. I mean, 2 of them were 3 stars. Looked like RC got some pretty solid value, but may have went down there a little bit early. Did hold on to that last invis, but he's got a really nice split set up on this base. If I had to guess, I'm going to assume the dragons. Oh, I was going to say the dragon's going to come from the bottom, but the king's going to come from the bottom and try to snipe out that multi, and then he's going to go in behind the sweeper over there on the top side.
What a problem I see, Bash, is the poison spell tower next to where the town hall was is still up. It was never taken out by the royal champion, so that might come back to haunt him later in this attack. As these dragons are powering their way through to the right, poison up top gets launched. Well, get ready for the Grand War Eternal Tome through this section. Pops it now. He will unfortunately have to encounter the Giga Bomb once that warden ability goes off.
Yeah, but that king really got no value down there on the bottom side. The king got almost instantly shredded between that multi-gear tower and the expo. Dragons are looking really healthy up top, but that's why I was kind of thinking that the dragons would go through the bottom, because with that warden ability, they would be able to sustain that area a little bit more. Dragons are starting to get picked off a little bit here by the air defense. Mini Prince still has ability, and we still have the 1 invis here, but this is definitely starting to fade like we see in these dragon attacks.
That one multi to the far left side never went down to the baby dragon because of the builder hut that stopped it, and now it's repairing it back to full. There's that poison spell that got launched right now, hitting this mini prince, slowing him down. With 45 seconds left, this mini prince is dying off, comes back to life with that phoenix, but unfortunately these dragons are not going to be enough to finish this face off. They have all disappeared, and this one is in the 80s, maybe just barely pulling through with an 80% 2-star.
Yeah, I just thought it was a little bit of a weird approach. I thought he got solid value from the royal champion, but sent the king pretty much right into his instant death there. The dragons, they did a great job until they didn't. You know, it's like one of those awkward situations, and this one's going to struggle to get to mid 80s. I don't think she's actually going to be able to get through that storage. So it's looking like an 82% 2-star for Sahara. And man, that is definitely a little bit of a lower shot here to start off the war against only Badz.
82% there to start off this match for ELEKTROS JP. Only Badz are going to look to capitalize on this 2-star here. Can they do it? Well, we've seen attacks from, I believe, Shawn likes to kick it off for only Badz potentially. And he's coming with some low percentages. It's uncharacteristic of him to do that, so he probably wants to turn it around. I'm not sure who's going to be attacking first for them, but now they have an opening to take advantage of. The pressure is here. Being in the lower bracket, you can't be making any mistakes now. And if you get eliminated, your hopes of getting that golden ticket are dashed. You won't be able to compete in person in the world finals. So there's a lot of pressure here, as it is going to be Demo. The captain is going to be the first attacker for only Badz, switching it up here.
Going with dragons also. We saw Dimma kind of in the middle of the lineup a lot yesterday. He hit in the 3rd spot twice, but like you said, Shawn struggled 75-79%. Dimma also failed to get a 3-star, and we saw a couple teams switch up their lineups, and it actually worked out really nicely. So maybe we see this, you know, a little bit of a change, and it works to their advantage. Gets the town hall down. Poison tower is going to go down as well. Great start here for the RC charge. Oh, I think he was trying to get the... Oh wait, he's actually going back for the archer tower now. Okay, so he's trying to direct her into that archer tower and then the balloons. Oh, but there's a Tesla farm carbon that's going to mess with things a little bit.
Well, there's got to be a lot more red air bombs over to this bottom side. He is at least removing the enemy queen. I'll take that. Some nice value. Working through the spitter as well. Some good value through here. You got to drop at least another balloon onto that mortar, because there's got to be a bunch of red air bombs right there. And this RC ended up going back, but getting locked onto the ice golems is a problem.
Yeah, man, he was trying to get that multi out in the middle, and it looked like he was gonna do it, but you're right, those ice golems, just the second ice golem was still visible, caught the RC's eye, and she decided to attack that. Have a couple of multis on the backside, and that's always kind of the story with these dragon attacks. If there's furnaces in there, those multis are going to slow down those furnaces. But does he go with the furnaces? Is it super minions? We'll have to see, obviously, here shortly in the attack. Doing a great job cutting the funnel. King's going to continue working down. Everything's looking great so far.
Yeah, the dragons are powering their way to the top with a Yeti to the far left. We got a couple balloons to the bottom side, pulling red air bombs down there, taking out the mortar, which is going to help funnel the king in towards that bottom compartment where the Giga Bomb is standing. But pops the warden ability. Minion Prince is joining through the top side, looking to take all that down. Air Skelly to the far left have popped, and Rocket Loons go snipe that air defense, help protect the dragons.
Oh man, this multi in the middle, I didn't even see it right there. The one that he was trying to get is just being a little bit of a nuisance with the sweepers pushing everything back. We do see the fire mites out there. King needs to get that multi down so that those fire mites can get as much value as possible. That's going to help out. The other multi's taken out. Poison tower is going to launch. If these fire mites can avoid that poison, they're going to help out a ton here in the back. Oh man, that King, we call him the strongest air defense in the game. He is just holding everything up right in front of that monolith.
The only chance he's got is the fire mites coming from the furnace. He's
he
liking
feels
that.
good.
He does feel good because look at the fire mites. They are so lowly, jumping their way over the walls from the right side. He can't take down the dragons with the crusher, and the dragons remain with the Grand Warden, and Demo gets it done for a 3-star finally. Changing the tide for them, which has been struggling to start off matches, and they needed that for the confidence boost for their team.
We saw this yesterday with a team like All Exceed. They switched to Roya after the 1-star, had him attack first. He came in with the 3-star. Demo was attacking in the middle of the lineup, switches to the beginning of the lineup, and starts off with a triple. Now ELEKTROS JP are down big, 18% in the star. This is going to be an uphill battle for them throughout the rest of the match, but we've seen time and time again, Carbon, the star advantage, percent advantage, that doesn't really matter here. All it takes is one mistake, one little slip up, and we saw so many of that yesterday. Jahawa will be our next attacker for ELEKTROS.
We have seen those mistakes come through, but they're looking to capitalize on a super Yeti attack here. And this one is using a Grand Warden to start to the bottom side. No fireball, so that is good. We've got a furnace, and something to think about. If you do bring a Warden and fireball in a situation like this, and you drop a furnace, sometimes the furnace mites will get out in front of the warden, pull Teslas, and it could be a little bit of an issue if you're trying to launch a fireball. But that's not happening here. Doesn't have to worry about trying to lock on the defense. Just got to clear that funnel so that the Super Yetis can path their way to the core. And in this case, he wants to grab the ground expo so he can move his way into the defensive king.
Yeah, it is really like an old school Smash setup here, especially like an old school Yeti Smash setup, where you just use that warden walk to set the path, set the funnel, set everything up, set that stage, and then you smash right on through the middle of this base. And Chihawa has had some great success with this. I think ELEKTROS JP in general have had some pretty great success with this attack strategy. Everything's going to all go into this middle compartment. He does have the jump, which will allow him a little bit more access. And here comes that Royal Champion from the top side, or the right side rather, with the Siege Barracks just to create that funnel and push everything further into the middle.
Yeah, we have no poison for the furnace that comes out, so he's just going to power his way through. Warden Eternal Tome going off. It is protecting these Super Yetis. There is the King's Earthquake Boots right through the core of this base as he continues towards this Town Hall. That King takes a lot of damage there, but he comes back to life with the Phoenix as we got Skeleton Spell to the top side to provide that distraction. These Super Yetis and the Yeti Electro Mites are just charging right on through and getting some nice value.
Yeah, Yeti Mite's picking up the monolith right there. But look at this on the top side. The Royal Champion, she's picked up the Super Hogs out of that barracks, and that's a nice addition. She still has ability as well, as along with an Invis, and there's not much in here aside from that Expo and Multi. Obviously a few Teslas, but the Queen's gonna get out in front and tank. This is looking really good, especially with them throwing those rocket spear shots. Now it looks like Chihawa will get the response that ELEKTROS JP needed.
A great attack here for Chihawa. The strength of the Super Yetis coming through and not needing to use a Royal Champion charge. because we're seeing Raw Champion charges everywhere. And the fact that he didn't need to pull it off here and get a crushing triple shows you the strength of this attack. And I love it. That is a great way to take down a base. And now it's going to put pressure back onto only Badz. We saw a triple coming in from Demo, but now the rest of his team needs to step up as well. The captain delivered the 3-star to start off the match. Now you know he's going to also be helping the plan and even scout some bases and to provide some assistance to make sure that they deploy all the troops. But things have really switched up. Ninja, normally it's the closer. He's going next.
Yeah, that's what I was oohing and ahhing about. I don't think in any of these qualifiers we've ever seen Ninja out of the 5 spot. He's going to go ahead and he's going to send in the RC. One thing, he did send in those rocket loons, so it might mess with his timing a little bit. Usually you're looking at the numbers and that's when you're dropping everything in. I didn't see when he actually deployed the RC to see if the timing's kind of still standard there. And it looks like he's on kind of a 3. Oh, well, the Fox is down, so all he's got to do is count to 4 anyways. Normally you want to try to time that up with the Fox, but losing that Fox that early is definitely going to hurt his value. Yeah,
he used another of his to the far right, tries to get his RC into the core. There's your earthquake to damage a lot of these defenses and pops that ability in. Bash, the value here for his Raw Champion right now is incredible. I'm loving this so far as his RC continues through, grabs the poison spell tower. If you can grab both these Infernos, the benefit is, yes, the Infernos, yeah, they don't do as much as like a monolith, but the fact that he takes out this core and they don't have to path into here to pull the traps. Oh, there, then that one multi that still remains. So that might be a little an issue, but I love the value so far.
Yeah, and he's going to go away from that multi because there's another multi on that far side. But I like what he's doing here with the dragon, sending them into a lot of that heavy damage area. The king should be able to manage and maintain through the bottom. I know that monolith is there, but that's why you put the snake bracelet also on the king, so the snakes can kind of get out in front and distract along with the P.E.K.K.A.s and the wizards and everything in there. But they're going to have to deal with these ice golems, which will slow everything. He's really got to get these dragons grouped back up. They're really spread thin here.
Yeah, the dragons are pushing through the defensive minion prince. The warden, though, taking a very awkward path to the top side where the enemy queen was, but he needs to slowly push his way through. No queen to use. The king is just slowly pushing his way to the top. That multi in the core did end up going down. Pops that warden ability, protect the dragons, but there's not many dragons remaining, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. They just spread so thin out, and then when they're not grouped together, they're not going as fast. The king got taken out on the top side. Now he's gonna have those fire mites out. But man, there's just so much of this base remaining. What was the miss for Elektros? It was 82%. So at bare minimum, that should be his target. But man, things are definitely slowing down on this attack.
The fire mites are going to be able to try to continue to jump and grab some value with one rocket loon left. I would drop the rocket loon. Yeah, I was going to say on the Tesla off to the left, because if you drop it anywhere on the bottom side, the multi-arch towers would be too much. The Tesla, if it has one fire mite jump to it, it would take it down, but nope, I'm hearing all the fire mites being the last one, says he's got one archer to get an 80%. Like you said, 82 is what the failed was from ELEKTROS JP, which means that they will have a lead by 2 buildings right now.
Yeah, it's a big shift in momentum as the tide turns back over to ELEKTROS JP, and that's what we're seeing in these matchups. It's been so back and forth. We really haven't had any like one-sided affairs in our last chance qualifier, and I kind of like that. I think having these matches being so close, it's just so much more entertaining to watch. But that one just, I think the dragons spreading out there on Nidge, just not being able to get that top funnel set, and then that one, I think it was just one building kind of pulled a few of those dragons off, kind of messed everything up there. It looked like he had a great start, great value from the RC. Maybe even losing the Fox a little bit too early there could have hurt things. It's hard to say, but definitely lower than expected for Ninja. NYU will be our next attacker for Elektros. I'm going to come in with a Root Rider attack.
Let's see if the roots are the answer to Ninja's base on the defensive side. We know that Ninja is a master of trying to send you right into his traps and killing off those healers with the red air bombs. As he's going to continue this push, invis for the queen and the warden, can be able to pull them both back with that recall spell. but he did have to get an early poison down onto the furnace. So at least he's dealing with that nice and early in this attack. Doesn't have to worry about it later. But once he steps up to grab the scatter shot, he might be in range of that town hall. Indeed he is, but he won't continue into the scatter here.
And didn't want to risk that queen taking too much damage. Going to go ahead and just pull her out of there and get her going. So he's going to go ahead and send the king on the top side. Battle Blood actually for the town hall, pulling out the poison dart. Could have almost maybe even pulled out the poison a little bit early, but I guess that's not going to matter as the Yeti mice are just there and get that town hall down. They might even be able to get these ice golems dealt with also. That would be really, really nice as they do bounce over and get the inferno down as well. But yeah, ice golems still stand up here as the roots are making their entry to the middle of the base. Here comes that first overgrowth.
Overgrowth stopping that multi in the core. Pulling a red air bomb with the booger of the Sneezy as he is stalled up from the ice golems, unfortunately, but he's going to be able to still have the ward internal tome, be able to protect as he's making his way through the top side around. Valkyrie's backtrack to the clan castle, and a couple of them do go to the bottom, but he needs to continue this push through these heroes, and this is a lot of damage with a tornado trap also spinning him around.
Yeah, so much damage, but the healers are staying up, keeping those roots going, and just really can't get the force ahead where he needs it. And that king is starting to cut inside, which means those roots are going to continue to the north and then stay on the outside of the base. I'm definitely not liking the way this is looking, but he still does have a lot of hero ability. He still has king. I think he just popped royal champion. Queen still, or he just popped queen rather, excuse me. Still has royal champion ability as well. Gonna go ahead and pop her rocket spears off to get a little bit of value up here on the top side as well.
But his healers found a lot of seeking air mines through their pathing. Not many healers remain to try to keep these troops alive. The queen though, or actually the clone queen, has walked around. She's disappearing, but the back end ricochet cannon going down, that's clutch. One root rider still moving through. He doesn't have anything else he could do. It's just a matter of watching. One little wizard and archer onto the store to the far right, that can make all the difference here in this attack. Oh boy. Oh boy, time's ticking. Time's ticking.
He's got the force. Can he get to that last storage? They got to go all the way around here.
No.
He's got to get over here. Queen's going to go ahead and cut back in. 10 seconds. He's right there. Queen's right there. That root rider opening the wall is going to allow it to be a 3-star, and NYU gets it done, which means no matter what after this attack, ELEKTROS JP will continue with the lead by at bare minimum 2 buildings.
The wizard archer to the bottom side storage made all the difference. He would have time failed if he didn't have that cleanup there, and that is why it's so critical, keeping just a few cleanup options remaining for the edge buildings, and in this case was able to take out that gold storage. They moved in, triggered some traps, but then he was able to finish off the other storage, and luckily it was lower health and he was able to finish this base off. Now Shawn, you've been an attacker that has been leading it off for only Badz, but unfortunately hasn't been delivering with 3 stars. So he's got to do it now to tie this war up on stars.
It just feels like Shawn can't hit his stride yet. We saw him use root riders, 79%, super yeti, 75%. So he really needs to step it up here in the worst way. They really need a 3-star, especially the way ELEKTROS JP have been playing lately. You can't really fall too far behind because they're not going to give you many opportunities to get that lead back. He is electing to go with the queen and warden charge into this compartment with that angry jelly, allowing the queen to target only those defenses for the first 35 seconds here. But let's see where he decides to go. He can kind of go either way on this one. And either way, it's going to be a little bit of a distance to that town hall. So the spell placement is going to have to be on point. He does have that heal spell, which will allow him to delay that warden ability. A decent value, just didn't get that expo there. And here comes a flame flinger, but that mortar is going to lock on. Actually, he's going to use a couple super barbarians to pick that up. A nice little play right there.
Yeah, with that mortar going, no, I was going to say with that mortar going down, it will protect the flame flinger. Hopefully he sees that it's not down. There you go, he sees it. But the super barb is not going to be enough. Finally it goes down, as now the roots are going to be pathing their way to the top side.
That would only be a problem because the flame flinger is only outranged by a couple defenses. Mortars are one of those defenses, so that's why I wanted to get that down so the flame flinger gets as much value. Now all the roots are working right in through the middle. His barbarian king is going to join on the outside, join the queen actually on the outside, and everything else is going to path right through that middle. You see that big overgrowth. Look at all those defenses shut down by the overgrowth.
No, that is so nice to stop them up, but do you do it again? You pair another overgrowth? Nope, but you got the Warden Turtle Tome. If there's any time not to do it, don't do it while your troops are all protected. Now he deploys the overgrowth here, which I guess the Warden ability has worn off. So the Royal Champion with her Rocket Spears can try to reach over, grab the bottle. No, RC goes down and the Monolith remains.
Yeah, that is definitely a tough defense to leave up. Not to mention there's still that Ricochet Cannon and Merge multi-cannon that are going to be coming back to life any second now from that overgrowth. There they are now. Shawn's troops again are going to just get blasted time and time again. Shawn just cannot hit a rhythm here in this qualifier.
And it's the last chance qualifier where you don't get a golden ticket, you won't be able to get another one for the entire rest of the year, as the last golden ticket will be given away here today. King's ability is still intact. That Flame Flinger did get some nice value, but with a Giga Bomb remaining and not many troops left, just a Barb and a minion left, the King is gone. Out comes Super Minions with 10 seconds remaining, and Shawn unfortunately falls short yet again for only Badz, and now they're down by a star.
The only, I guess, saving grace there is that it was 93%. I mean, there was no shot that was getting through. If you look at the remaining defenses, like you're like, oh yeah, 93, that's close. That one was really not that close with the Monolith, multi-gear, scatter shot, Inferno, multi-archers. So many of those heavy hitting defenses. That one really didn't have a chance, but he did a great job at managing that percent and getting it up to 93%. As we saw Ninja's 80%, but now they're gonna have to hope for a defense here. They really need ELEKTROS JP to kind of miss on this attack to give themselves a chance. We know they have some strong attackers there in that 4 and 5 spot, but they need those defenses to start coming in.
It's gonna be tough. The opportunity is there, but the window is closing, and Kuma can really push ELEKTROS JP ahead if he triples, and they're going with the Super Yetis. I'm liking this choice here because these bases necessarily aren't designed to stop an attack like this. It's really trying to stop Root Riders as a #1 option, then Dragons as a #2 option, but these Super Yetis are strong. You don't have to worry about a fireball value or anything like that. Just set up that Warden charge to the right side, and then you can push your Super Yetis in. At this point, it looks like the Flame Flinger is going to get some nice value as long as that Ground Expo goes down from this Warden charge, and nothing is going to threaten that Flame Flinger other than a mortar to the top side.
Chihawa and Kuma have been the Super Yeti attackers. Kuma used them twice yesterday. 3-star and a 96%. So if he's missing, he's not missing by much. And it seems like these kind of boxy style bases where you can kind of just send it all right up the middle are just perfect for these Super Yeti attacks. And you're right, Carbon. A lot of the traps and bases are set up to slow down those RC charges into whether the Root Riders or the Dragons. But when you go with this Grand Warden walk into the Super Yetis, it's just such a different approach. What's happening?
I was going to say that Warden was about to step into the Minion Prince. That was going to be a little sketchy, but he's okay. He's able to protect the Warden with the Invis, and the Giga Bomb goes off. Well, he could jump. Yes, there's the jump. And notice he's got the jump not over the scatter to the left, but just over the Expo so they can charge their way through. He doesn't want to jump him too far on the edges. The RC will clear that scatter as he pulls out Ice Golems, pathing his way into the Town Hall.
Man, they do such a good job with these Flame Flingers also picking up value. That Flame Flinger is going to continue to go there. Here comes that Royal Champion now taking down the enemy Queen. Town Hall falls. He's got the protection from the Warden. King did go to Phoenix, so he will be without a King here momentarily. The Queen still has ability also. Royal Champion still has ability. Actually, she's throwing those Rocket Spears right now, but she's looking very healthy down there on that bottom side. It's just all about this top compartment, and that's usually how these things go. Those last compartments with a hero in there, the Expo goes down. I mean, this one's definitely starting to get thinned out, but he's still got so much force. It's just, can he close in here on this King?
Man, this attack is so nice. The fact that you don't have to rely on a Royal Champion charge is just so convenient. You're able to charge your way through. You don't have to worry about timing the invis, getting baited into a compartment. Just do a simple Warden walk, and then just send the Super Yetis in as a smash style attack, and it's working against these bases here. They were not ready for something like this, and it is showing.
Yeah, these bases are just not built to stop the Super Yetis. The Super Yetis are super beefy. That one storage could be a little bit of an issue. 13
Time.
seconds. It's full health here. If he's got any kind of saving grace, Dimma's base, that is, it could be the storage. 6 seconds. Here comes the Sneezy with the boogers. 2, 1. No, Carbon, the 99 time fill. What a heartbreaker on such a beautiful attack for Kuma.
Only Badz only has 2 attacks left to make the comeback. The opportunity is there. This could have been the nail in the coffin from Kuma, but no, he leaves the door barely open here in this match, and there is a shot for a comeback for only Badz. But they have to deliver. They have to get that 3-star. ND is going to be looking to do just that. And then the final attacker, which I like, is going to be Dimma. I love this position for Dimma here because he's been the one that has been clutching up, and they have realized that. They've probably said, Dimma, you've been 3-starring both times. We need you in the final position because you are hitting at such a high rate here. You got to close for us. So Dimma, you're going to be last. ND, it's your turn to step up for only Badz. If you want any shot at getting a golden ticket, you pretty much have to triple here.
Yeah, but Carbon, here's the situation though. Even if they triple here, they're still down by 8%. So yes, this has to be a 3-star, but they're still gonna need a 92, 91% or lower defense on the final attack from ELEKTROS JP. So they still have a ton of work to do, but it has to start right here with a 3-star right now.
But I see something here that I don't typically see, Bash, and that is a clone spell. What in the world is a clone spell used for the roots?
I feel like it's gonna be clone yetis out of the battle one to take the town hall, the crusher mortar, and the multi-gear. That'd be my guess.
Dimma's attacking, not ND. Oh, I thought ND was attacking. Okay, Dimma is
I thought it was ND also. It is Dimma.
I thought ND was going next. Never mind, but it is Dimma here, and he's gonna go Rage, and he is cloning up those Super Yetis. Will they jump towards the core, towards the... Oh, no, he does overgrowth that monolith there. But was that clone worth it? Or could he have gotten that same value with a Rage up regular Yetis?
Yeah, that's one of those questions. I think he just wanted to be safe in this situation and make sure he got those defenses down, because that crusher mortar, that multi-gear tower, those are just such hard-hitting defenses against these root riders. So I think playing it safe there is not a bad thing, but you're right, 3 spell space is a big, heavy investment. But now that last overgrowth wears off. It's all coming down to this. All he has is those hero abilities and 1 Valkyrie.
King ability and Queen will need to clutch this up, but they are on the outside of this base. He's got storages to the far left. 1 archer is working on it. What does he save this Valkyrie for? Because there's a lot of base. Unfortunately, he has to continue around. And this Warden is what need... No, that Warden needs to stay alive. That's what I was saying. Because that Warden needed to clear the core, but that ricochet cannon was too much.
Oh, man. These big defenses, they're just slowing things down, especially with the King and Queen being on the outside now, just beating on a wall. They're just going to be so vulnerable in this situation. And the King, he's got the Frosty on him, so he doesn't have the Phoenix, so he's going to go right down. And it's going to come down to the Queen with that giant from the action figure equipment. Does get the poison tower down before it regenerates, so that's nice, but he just doesn't have enough time to get through these walls.
30 seconds left here, trying to reach over the wall, grab that spitter. Giant's going to run around. The Giant, I don't even think can be forced to half health and be raged up, maybe other than the ground extra lock on. But look at these storages, and unfortunately not able to get it. And I am curious of the use of the clone, because I feel like a rage could have been used and he would have had an extra spell slot for something. I don't know. I just see that if the Super Yetis were able to jump over and grab, let's say, a monolith over the walls, then the clone could have been a difference. But no, only the 89. Unfortunately, Dimma falls short here for only Badz, and this is not looking good for them.
Yeah, that is a tough situation to be in. Now they find themselves down on stars, and ELEKTROS JP can put this one away with an 82% 2-star. 82% or higher will be the victory, as they are up by 19% going into this attack.
82. I was just going to try to do the math, but there you go. That's the mark that they need to hit, and if they're able to do that, they are eliminated, only Badz. and they will not have a shot at getting a golden ticket, who came in as the #1 seed of the last chance qualifier. They almost got golden tickets in the previous monthly finals. They almost got a golden ticket from the leaderboard, but unfortunately Navi jumped them based on their last month's performance, and now they're almost getting eliminated. Depends on what Wado does here, as that RC is charging through. This right side does just have to hit that 82%, goes invisible with that queen to the far right. So it all comes down to the value of this RC. If she gets value, it looks like this attack will work. If she does not, okay, so he's not looking for too much value for this RC here, as he already pulls her back.
Wado's 2 attacks yesterday, a 3-star 100% and a 91% 2-star. So both of the attacks were above that 82% mark, as we see that log launcher now going to come in with the queen. Oh, he's got to get this RC under control. Does beautifully with the headhunter. Now that log launcher will go ahead and open up this wall, giving the queen access to the middle of this base really, really nicely. Does she step in? She should. Yep, she does. And this is going to continue to surge forward. I love this queen value right now. She's going to be able to pick up so many of these buildings if he can keep her inside. The laboratory might pull her out and might not actually be the end of the world if she actually goes out and joins up with the roots now.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the Yetis from the log launcher, they're going to get killed so quickly. But at least they did get that multi. No! Furnace mines are hitting the healers, and once they do that, bye-bye healers. They're going to die. Healers, stay alive. You need this warden to hopefully help heal you up if there's a healing tome there. As the king is up to the top side, trying to push through the defensive minion prince, but there is a giant gauntlet grabbing the multi as he's trying to pass his way to the town hall. Needs the overgrowth to wear off, but he can use the eternal tome through the giga bomb.
Oh, okay, he's holding it until now. Some of those healers got really, really low, but he didn't lose all those healers. I don't know if I know he lost at least one. I saw a Seeking Air Mine. I don't know how many of those healers he may have lost there. It seems like there might be 2 still remaining, which it's gonna obviously be better than not. But the big thing here is watch that percent. It's got to get to 82 or higher. Things
are dying off so quick, and the thing is, his troops are in the core, meaning if they die here in the core, they can't grab the outside buildings in percentage. 1 super barb left. Freeze, Invis Skelly, drops some archers to the right, 74, he's only a few buildings left, needs to keep this RC alive, can make her invisible, 76, he should be able to get percent, finds the tornado trap off to the left side there, he's so close, drops the Skelly to distract the bottom side, 1 freeze left, and there it is, my friends, 82% at least is enough to secure the victory for ELEKTROS JP, and only Badz, unfortunately, are not able to get a golden ticket for the last chance qualifier.
Jihawa very happy, throwing up the peace signs. This ELEKTROS JP squad, man, they have looked so good in their last few matchups. This one's gonna keep creeping up here, get a few more buildings, but ultimately 87 is gonna be just enough that no matter what, only Badz are eliminated. It is a heartbreaker. I think a lot of people would have considered only Badz our favorite coming in to today. I mean, Carbon, you, me, Itsu, we all picked only Badz, which means Judo going against the grain once again, making the right prediction.
It's paying off to stay away from our predictions here, and Judo is making the comeback. I thought I had a solid lead against you guys, but you all copied me, and Judo goes the opposite way. So now Judo and myself are tied overall in the predictions for this weekend. We are seeing Andy gonna try to wrap it up with a 3-star here with the roots again. So let's see, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna start using the Super Yeti attack to test it out because it looks so strong and it actually looks fun to use.
Yeah, I wonder how it performs on bases kind of like this one here, where it's a not so like straight boxy style. It's more of almost like a diamond shape here, because we see it on those like the straight where you have kind of like that almost like runway approach to the town hall. So I'm kind of curious how it would do against those other attacks. I mean, I've been using Super Yetis with mass revives, and that's been a lot of fun. But bringing back the old school Warden Walk, that's a really fun thing. The old Pekka Bobat days, that's a good feeling.
Oh, you're hitting so many nerves for some people of back in the days with all those strats. But let's see as this hound is going to fly and trigger that Giga Bomb, trigger the Seeking Air Mine as he's going to send that king and queen to the right with the roots going to path their way in, trying to move his way with the healers on the roots as well. Grand Warden deployed and a troop launcher coming in.
Back in my day, we didn't have Root Riders, Carbon Fin, but nowadays we do have Root Riders, and we are seeing them used time and time again. Definitely one of the most dominant forces throughout this meta, but at the same time, there's something to say about the hit rate of the Root Riders. Sometimes I feel like kind of that safer strategy where they don't always get through, and it's not always even close to a convincing 3-star. So it's almost like it's like safety net. If you don't really know what to do, you kind of go lean on those Root Riders where you know you're going to have a chance if you set up everything properly. Love the rocket loons here out of the troop thrower. That's one of my favorite things I love seeing. It's just a random rocket loon pop up in the middle of the base. Everything's looking pretty solid except for getting to this back end compartment. It's going to be tougher ND as things are definitely fading a little bit in here.
Yeah, things are fading here, unfortunately, and only Badz, they put up such a great effort, but unfortunately, it just won't be enough. But we talk about what we remember in the game. I am curious, for all those that are watching at home right now in the chat, type in, when did you start playing Clash of Clans? What year was it? Because I really want to see those. Do you remember back in the day when you had to wait like 45 minutes for a P.E.K.K.A. or something to cook? No, those were the days. Now those that are playing, you have 0 time and instant training. It is such a difference maker. I love that ability. You can be able to attack right away, but those were the days.
Hey, but it's for the better. Let's be honest. Clash Anytime, one of the most positive changes in Clash of Clans history, allowing you to just attack nonstop. It is kind of interesting to think about how far the game has come. I mean, I remember I started playing when Town Hall 10 just came out in 2015. It was such a whole different ball game. I remember like playing in wars, and it was like, do our Town Hall 10s dip, and then we have our Town Hall 9s trying to 2-star Town Hall 10s? Like, that was kind of like the meta way back in the day. Kind of interesting to see how everything's developed as we have moved into esports. But congratulations to ELEKTROS JP, as Carbon and I are off on our own tangent here. Let's not take away from this victory. 12 stars to 11.
Congrats again.